Peace, blessings, and wholeness, family. It is November 2nd, 2025, Sunday. It's feeling like a spring day today. I haven't made a video in a minute, and I want to become more consistent with getting these video updates out there for you folks. So let's do it. Let's get into it. I'm just going to walk through. Usually in these videos, I go into them with something already pre-planned, pre-thought in my mind, like, okay, this is what I want today's topic of the video to be on. And we'll just see if we can carry that trend as the days move forward. I guess the only thing constricting that is if my brain can keep on coming up with ideas for videos. So we got a lot of things to go over today because it's been a minute. So let's get into it. Here we are. Hard freezes have came. Warm temps have came again. This kale over here is still hanging on the other side, which is really cool. Cold hardy kale. I believe this was donated to Soil Solidarity by Reno Food Systems. So big shout outs to them for donating these seedlings, and have fresh greens through November. Some lacinato curly kale. Wasn't protected through any of the freezes. So if you don't know, kale is very cold hardy. So that's a good one. If you can get it established and not have it be attacked by aphids later in the season, then fresh greens into November and possibly even December. Just keep up with harvesting to keep that production up. Maybe not so much at this part in the season. You're kind of just... Winter farming isn't so much about growing, it's about winter harvesting. So you get everything to a point of harvestability before it gets too cold, and then you're just basically harvesting through the winter time and reseeding. But nothing really starts growing until early February, noticeably. So on my side, we've got these two last beds. The original plan was I had 6 beds, so get 3 more beds to farm, and then 1 bed of garlic goes to Soil Solidarity. But there's these 2 beds here, and they had plans for them. Didn't end up working out, so I have a little bit garlic left over for sale. So I said, why not? Let me plant these last 2 beds, and then I will donate 2 beds of garlic to Soil Solidarity. So an allowance or an exchange for me to farm here. So that's pretty cool because I would only have the 6 beds. So now I have 9 beds of garlic. 10 and 11 go to Soil Solidarity, and then I have 11 beds. 11 3 feet wide. These ones are more like 2, they're like 3 feet wide. So yeah, 3 feet wide by 20 feet long beds. 11 of them. These ones that I added the hugel mounds onto are about 25 feet, 25, 23. So we've increased growing capacity, which is good. Moving forward towards next year, I'll need to find a different property to farm on because they don't want to really allot any more growing space. And I'm not trying to encroach on any more in growing space over here. They've already been so generous and allow me to be here. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that. I get to keep working on my practices, growing my farm / business, and I have been. So I know that's like a year out, but in the farming mindset, you're pretty much looking a year out. So this time next year, I may be at a different plot, or maybe we can work out a way so I can plant these 11 beds again next year. But ultimately, planted 100 pounds of garlic. That's headed up to 200 pounds next year. So I'd like to keep on increasing the numbers. That way we can get up to a good revenue stream in the years to come, distributing the locally adapted garlic through the community of Nevada and across the country. So that has been the game plan, and we'll press forward with that game plan. There's a lot of time in between that, so we got to plan strategically and accordingly. Got some good wood chips over there. Got like 5 dumps of wood chips, so no lack of mulch. So what's cool? So that's my ranting for today. And let's get into some more structural topics. We could talk about different planting times of garlic, which I've covered before, but I feel that it's of benefit to go over again. So I've tested this in Vermont, and now we're testing this in Nevada. This bed and the one all the way down on the other side before the two that aren't planted, those 2 beds were planted the day after or on the day of the autumnal equinox, so the first day of fall. Life happened and work happened, so the rest of these beds were not planted until mid-October. I have the dates written down, just don't have them memorized off the top of my head. So 2 beds planted in September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beds planted in October. And then now 2 beds will be planted in November. So I've planted garlic all in the same planting season, beds in August, September, October, November, and December. And the Allen 99, one of the varieties of garlic that I'm growing, he didn't have time to get his garlic in the ground one year, so he ended up getting his garlic in the ground in December in Vermont, which he was poking holes through the frozen ground to get the cloves in, and they still did completely fine. And the first garlic farmer that I worked for, Quill Hill Farm, Adam, he also said he did the experiment, just planted them in every different month, noticed no difference, they all harvest at the same time. And I actually noticed the same thing when I did my experiment, because I was, young, I didn't believe him. So I said, let me try that for myself. Came up with the same results. So let's see, in a different state, 3,000 miles across the country, if you plant garlic in 3 different months, will they all harvest at the same time? Will there be any difference in size? We'll see. The only difference that I saw was when you planted into January and February, and this could all be region dependent, season dependent. I'm talking about a northern climate where you get at least a good few hard freezes every year, anywheres from the 38th parallel and above. So that's who I am talking to, because when you go a little bit more south, it's going to be different, because garlic, especially hardneck garlic, does better in northern climates, and softneck wants to do better in warmer climates. You can grow softneck in colder climates, and you can grow hardneck in warmer climates. It just depends. So that's a cool experiment that we got going on heading into the 2026 season. King Artichoke checking in over there. just not even fazed by the cold. I had just learned when I worked at Moana Nursery this season that artichokes are actually pretty cold hardy. This is the green globe artichoke. And yeah, somebody had commented in one of the permaculture Facebook groups that they turn brown during the summer, like when they're young and not established. And then once you get into the fall months, they start to thrive. And that stood true. So shout out to that homie for giving me that insight on the artichoke game. Here's the pumpkins that didn't ripen. Just didn't have enough time. That's okay. We got a few of them. And we went really, really heavy on the mulch. So it's the name of the game. As I've talked about for years now, and we'll continue to keep talking, we lay. So just a little skit-scat moment. Good for letting me know that the seed is viable. So the ones that we planted in September are coming up. And that's because we had a little warm spell there in September. So that's okay. They'll just die back, but that helps me know that the seed is viable. And where they're not coming up, that's also could hypothesize that it was just mulched heavier there. That's some grass or some cover crop coming through. That's not garlic, as with that. I believe that's the winter rye. So we'll have to snip that back and put some more mulch on top of it to suppress it so it doesn't take over in the springtime and then we're fighting it because it will survive through the winter. So we got to kind of put that back in its place. Lost my train of thought. That's funny. Pumpkins. It's coming around the corner here. So many things I want to talk about and just haven't made a video in a really long time. But yeah, the name of the game, thick mulches. So we're digging out the pathways and we're flipping the mulch that decomposed in the pathways on to the top of the bed. So you see how wide this bed is right now? That's like 4 feet wide. 1, 2, 3, 4. So some of these beds are 4 feet wide now. So, you know, we've increased the growing capacity. I mean, if you look back just a year ago, these beds, I mean, this bed, looked like these two beds. So, you know, we increased, and that is 3 feet wide. So we increased our growing capacity, you know, a foot wide the whole way down. I don't know how much that is, but it's a lot when you did it on every single bed. So, and something to be said with this heavy mulching system that I've just brought with me from a much more moist climate, it seems to be the name of the game, whatever your climate is. Deep composition of diverse, heavy, thick mulches combined with deep observation and hand watering to keep you more in tune with the land and those observations yields very great results. So everything here is done completely by hand. There's no power tools, and I do believe that you can scale this to at least 1/3 of an acre for one person. You could handle the plot. One man or woman could manage 1/3 of an acre of land by themselves with only hand tools. No, and then so only hand tools means no fossil fuels. And then, I mean, obviously we use our cars, so if you want to count that, Probably going to need a car to haul out all those high harvests. But we're talking about mainly tools on the farm. And then if you could grow your own green manures in place, keeping your fertilization program on the farm rather than bringing in outside inputs, rather than if it's just local leaves, like that's okay. But when or local wood chips that the arborist companies were just going to have to pay to get dumped in a landfill, because a lot of the times if they don't have a place to dump it, then they will have to pay. So it's a benefit for them, and then it's a benefit for us. And if you can create a relationship with these companies and drivers, then they'll start to take care of you. Likewise with the leaf mulch in the fall. And then if you have maybe local farms around who do unsprayed hay bales or alfalfa that you can get your hands on for a decent, price or barter trade, then you're bringing in all these inputs and it costed nothing. Just your time and relationships, making relationships with people in the community. That's where all this fertility is coming from. There's not any money involved in this fertility program. There's not any money involved in the way that we harvest, plant, besides the money that we, use to buy seeds and seed starting mix to make soil blocks. So if you can keep your inputs low, then you basically have no overhead. Yeah. So I think that's a good place to stop it. Kind of just went on like 10 different rants there. If you like these rants, let me know down in the comments, and I'm gonna try to make this a daily thing, not like 20 minutes long, but maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We got this lemon balm and this protected southwest corner up against this fence pole, and blackberries. Pretty cool that it still has green on it. Peace, blessings, and wholeness. That is Sunshine Farm for you. November 2nd, 2026. Skit-scatting all over the place. A lot of things to think about, a lot of things to plan for, a lot of things to be said, a lot of things to not be said. So let's get back into it tomorrow, and I'll try to come up with a more strategic topic setting, so I'm just not going all over the place. But sometimes I just like doing long videos like this and just letting your thoughts flow. So once again, peace, blessings, and wholeness from Sunshine Farm. Farmer John out. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.